Okay, we've complied. Now there's a man meditating there, so I'm not going to be talking any louder, okay? Now, wherever you go in the world, I always think that you have these, what can we call them, contradictions, little things that surprise you. I'm looking now at such a traditional setup where everything is as it should be. Classical artwork, look at the beautiful porcelain pots. And then at the back, I mean, there's so much work done on the details of that particular base that this Buddha is on, and yet at the back is a tree that is made up and looks as if it was built in Disneyland. It's the kind of thing that you would see there because it's just made up. See, if you look at this, how long must this have taken? All of those little drawings are all seem to be in metal. They're all down there, just beautiful work. And paintings of the palace. I think when you leave the Philippines and you come and look at the ancient history that exists in other parts of this area of Asia, and you see, I can't help but come to the conclusion and make the observation that the Philippines, compared to other parts of this side of the world, is a new country. With new values, with new everything. wherever you go, certainly in my travels in China and in my travels now here for the first time in Thailand, I'm looking constantly at the serpent, dragon, whatever you want to call that, reptilian symbols, and they're at the edge of all of the roofs. You'll see that on the edge of every roof there's always something which is there to ward off evil spirits. No corner, no edge of where the apex ends is left undone on that old traditional part. And I'm sure that there is a reason for why the ceilings are so high and why these Buddhas are so big. See, look. Serpent again. And there's my wife waiting patiently while I've been waffling. So that's for this part of the temples, if you're interested. It's mainly the artwork that interests me. And as you can see, there's all kinds of eye candy for anybody who's interested in art. And look what I was just saying about what happens at the end of every roof. Always has something which is there. And if you've been to France and you've seen the gargoyles on every part, they're there for a purpose.
Yeah, according to the tour guide, this one is blessings, happiness, and for education. This Buddha.
For happiness?
Yeah, happiness
and education. So each of the Buddhas is for a different...
Yeah, have different.
Yeah. Not unlike, as someone said, the Catholics have their own saints and effigies, which is what these pieces of artwork are. If you look there, there's always something that's coiled in reptilian. And all of these gates, porticos, whatever the correct architectural description is for, always at the entrance, and they're always very elaborate, and they're always full of all kinds of symbolism and for some of us, monsters. If you look, see, even this little tiny bit here, this is like cobbling. But look at the detail there, and it's duplicated on the other side. Exactly the same. And all of those are scenes there. Scenes depicting something which, if I were much more clever than I am, I would know what those scenes were. But there's a seated Buddha, or what looks like a seated Buddha. And there's a lady. There's a centre figure of what must be a king or an emperor. There's the poor guy at the back who's pushing. Wise men, followers. And there's a big horse and a smaller horse, whatever that symbolism is. And again here, there's the center figure, and then on either side you have a smaller child follower. The man at the back here, he is waving a big fan to keep the center figure cool. This figure here looks like a child and carrying an open scroll, and this one carrying some kind of scepter for the main man. Now what's this man doing here? Doing something, but the sculpture is very old now, very worn, weather beaten. And then all of these. So now that looks like a fan, and yet, well, he's carrying a parchment. It's quite a long parchment, must have a lot on there, a lot of information on there. So maybe these are pens or for scrolling of some kind. Now all of this is, this is concrete, but it's painted very well, faux painted to look like marble. Same thing again. Wow, look at these. Now that's a staff. And is that a whip? How could I know? It has to be made to be self-supporting, so it has to come in and follow the body, and then up and around the back of the head, and then down on here. But it's holding the end, so maybe it is. But he looks like, well, maybe not a warrior, but he is holding a staff. So I wonder. And he has quite a benign, nice looking, smiling eyes. Whereas on this side, he has a staff, and he's got the same, what looks like, as I said, what looks like it could be a whip or some kind of rope anyway. And he's got these lovely, look at these again. I love these. And they're following, and they come and they embellish the sleeve. And that rope or whatever it is comes down, right down there. And look at that headdress. But he's maybe he's the other one. Maybe it's a good cop, bad cop situation. Look at this. This crack is running right through and right around there. And you can see here, look, it's cracked here. Another crack and a crack there. When you're sculpting a piece like this, you have to work out how this can appear as if it's free-flowing and unsupported, but actually it is supported. Supported from here right to there. And then all of that is carved from behind. Look at that. And all of these, sketch it out on the front, and then gradually you chip away and take it right in behind there. Same with the arms. When you look at some of the sculptures of the Greeks, they would cut the arm here, and then they'd use pegs and they would jump. That's why on some of the ancient sculptures that they've rescued, you'll find that they don't have any arms, because the arms are broken off. So the staff appears as if it's freestanding, but of course they've hooked it in there. Has to be able to travel. Okay, well, that's the end of this little waffle. Actually, interestingly, that actually looks like, well, I can't walk around in my bare feet, honey. I'll have to get my shoes. That looks modern, but going by how nicely they painted that, maybe that's painted as well. But it looks like it's modern tile. Okay, well, still got the Korean attack going on. Seems like a huge party of Koreans came at the same time that we did. This is a foreigner in the Philippines at the Wat Po Palace.